Hey everyone, I'm joined now with Andrea Martini, who just performed in the incredible work SCARABEO. Actually, the first question I want to ask you is about the title, SCARABEO, Angle and the Void. It's quite an interesting title, and could you maybe talk a little bit about where that came from and what that is?
Well, the title first was SCARABEO. SCARABEO in Italian is Scrabble, the game.
Ah, okay.
And I just like the idea of playing with material, with choreographic material, and create new sense with the same language. So basically, throughout the piece, we have a very clear set vocabulary that transforms itself to arrive to a place of total neutrality. And Angles and the Void. It sounded so good together. It sounded like the beginning of like a great roman. How do you say? A romance, like one of these huge books. And I like the idea of like an empty stage in the middle of the show. So that's why the void. Yeah. And the angles has to do probably again with my movement language a lot.
So what struck me about this work is the incredible sense of playfulness and the relationship that you have with the other performer, and I really get this sense of playing around with masculinity from an ambiguous sense. Is that has that been something you've been working with?
Yeah, I think this is really part of our personality. So big part of the research. I mean, the whole beginning was just about making each other laugh in the studio. And
very
that's
clear.
How,
it's very clear. It makes us laugh as well.
That's how we created most of the initial material.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
And so, could you maybe tell me a little bit about the process? Also, like how did you work in the studio? I know we were talking just before, and you said that you worked for around 3 months, but spread over 6 months. Exactly. What was that process like?
We started by the heart of the piece, which was the song. And by just creating a movement that would make us laugh. So we were quoting a lot of different choreographers, a lot of different, like anything was...
can you give some examples? Because I think that I want to poke you into it. Go on, be cheeky.
we have our Israeli choreographers moment.
Okay, got you.
Yes. We're closing the circle. And so the beginning was just that, and then this idea of competition came more clear. It was actually an idea for a different piece, but somehow the two things seemed to work very well together. And in the beginning we had in mind a very different story, but then the idea of the sounds took over, and so it became like one of the main parts. Yeah.
And I've got to say, I really love the work, and I think that the work is crafted beautifully, and especially the soundscapes. I mean, the work between the choreography and the sound is incredible. And how did you kind of craft that together? I mean, how did you go about doing that and finding this soundscape?
Well, first of all, I collaborated with a great musician that is really an expert of sounds. And at the same time, I chose music tracks that I really liked. And eventually we merged them together with the work on the sounds. So the work on the sound was really going back and forward to the studio, recording things, finding them on sound banks online, and we liked the idea of cartoonish, but we didn't want to use cartoon sounds. Yeah. So it was very tricky there.
You know, can I just say one thing? I don't know. Do you know Ren and Stimpy?
Yes, I have heard it before.
Okay, you have to check Ren and Stimpy out. Yes. For viewers at home that know Ren and Stimpy, moments of this for me was, especially in the turning point where things start to become a bit darker with the smoke. Yeah, it's so Ren and Stimpy. It's beautiful. It's like really, really well executed. I was reading in the program, and I noticed also you were working with a dramaturg. Yeah. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that process, dramaturg, dance, and how that was working.
For me, it was amazing to work with her. It was the first time I met her. It was under recommendation of somebody, and it was the first time I thought I worked with a dramaturg. And I felt I really needed to have some external input in this work. Because it's not my first work, and I started to feel like I didn't want to go to familiar places.
Of course, yeah.
So, of course, she was an outside eye to to tell us what had to be crafted better, what in order to make just the performance more accessible, yeah, we call her the justifier. I mean,
I love it.
Yeah,
Justifier.
yes. And at the same time, she would come with a fresh point of view and tell us, you know, I think that this piece is about that, and I would be like, really? It's true. You know? So it was a very nice process in that sense, because it allowed the work to become something that was going beyond what I would do.
Yeah, it pushed you.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, it's so beautiful that there are so many voices in this piece.
Yeah, definitely. I have two more questions for you. One is, maybe could you talk a little bit about the second chapter of the work after the smoke and like the relationship between first chapter, which is competition, very humoristic play, and then suddenly this decay and complete transition.
Well, it's sort of the whole piece goes through a transformation. Like we really, it's sort of a ritual. At a certain point, there is really this ritual aspect of sort of like purification through like ecstasy in a certain sense. Yeah. It's still very, how do you say, spoken. Like everything is very precise. It's not chaotic, but there is a sense of I think ecstasy coming. And this wanted to be a return, almost as if we had been chewed, and all the material that before had a certain sense could be reshown in a completely
new light.
It's like a body decomposing and becoming something else. Yeah. It's still the same material, but it creates something new. Cool. Yeah. This was the.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's very clear when watching the work, and it's done, as I said, extremely beautifully. And then lastly, what's next for you? I've heard a few little things.
Yeah, we have, I have a few projects going on. Apart from touring with SCARABEO, we have a lot of, thanks to Aerowaves actually, we had a lot of invitations, very, very nice. And also a project in turning SCARABEO into children's performance. Or at least to let children approach the work and see what that creates. So we have few residencies with some of the partners.
And what's that? I know it's got a name. Offspring.
Offspring. But I hope it's right. Yeah, I think it's Offspring. I'm terrible with this. I just know it's like my kids' project. And it's really an amazing idea, and I think it will really allow us. It will allow a lot of different people to tell us what. And children especially, to tell us what they can read in the work. Absolutely. And that's very interesting for me.
I would be really intrigued to see how the work transforms and develops in that direction. Well, thank you so much for this interview. I could give us a cuddle. So
thank
lovely.
You very much.
And thank you everybody for watching. And tomorrow, on that note of the Offspring Festival, we're going to bring in the director of that residency, and we're going to have a little chat and tell you a little bit more about that. So off you go, on to the next performance, and see you later.